Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the watch party for Not a Moment, but a Movement, Episode 1, featuring Crowndation, written by Angelica Cherie, starring Sharia Irving, and directed by yours truly. I just wanted to very quickly, I've never done watch party before, so I don't know what the rules are, so I'm making them up as I go. I just want to give everybody a framework for this. So basically, I'm the artistic director of the Fire This Time. The Fire This Time's uh, mission is to amplify the pipeline of Black playwrights. That's our mission. That's what we do. That's what we try to do, at least. Not a moment, but a movement. Not a moment, but a movement. That just is screaming for some kind of song, I think. But that is the brainchild of Tyrone Davis, who is currently the associate artistic director of Center Theater Group in Los Angeles. And Tyrone reached out to Bruce Lemon from the Watts Village Theater in LA. What's up, Bruce? What's up, Watts Village? And Kelly Gerard, who is the founder and executive director of the Fire This Time Festival, with this idea of having a multidisciplinary festival almost, where we would combine a playwright, a visual artist, and a musician for each episode. And the farthest time, all of us were um, tasked with curating this. And so it starts off, what you'll see a program that starts off with the our forever Miss America, Vanessa Williams. Um, Quick Vanessa Williams story, real quick. So, okay, so I got to know Vanessa Williams through LaShawns, who I met through our kids are in the same dance class years ago. And I remember being so nervous reaching out to her to ask her to do this. And when she said yes, I feel like that was like the moment when I like arrived. I mean, I don't want to get emotional here, but I get a little emotional. Love Vanessa Williams. Eighth grade Caesar is through the roof. All right, so you'll see Vanessa Williams. Then you have Bruce Lemon, who's acting as our host, who's the co-artistic director of Watts Village Theater. And one thing you'll notice about Bruce is he is very, very intense. And so what was interesting about doing this, because we recorded this uh, on the Kirk Douglas Theater back in November, but we're editing it all the way through January, and we had a chance to see Bruce's introduction before we had finished editing Crowndation, and so it was a lot of pressure because Bruce is selling it, y'all. Y'all see Bruce Lemon is selling it. And then you have Jessica Laurel, who's a wonderful musician, and then it ends with a meditation from the beautiful artwork of Kenyatta A.C. Hinkle. And in between that, you have my girl, who I'm about to bring on right now, playwright extraordinaire, Angelica Cherie. Angelica, come on, let's just talk a little bit about Foundation.
Caesar, I love your introduction.
It's the truth, though, right? Bruce is intense, isn't he?
I love it. He
So
he sold it, selling it. He kind of like, yeah.
I was like, oh, dude, we got to do better. Got to go back and re-edit this joint to match the introduction.
I know.
Um, so
He sold it.
I kind of want to ask you to say something about Foundation, but then I kind of want you to tell the story of Foundation, how Foundation came to be.
Yeah. Well, so really, Crowndation was born through the National Black Theater Festival's I Am Soul residency, and
Yes,
I was just graced with that opportunity to cultivate a play from scratch. And I knew that I wanted to complete my Prophet Cycle trilogy with them, and which those the first two plays in that trilogy are all family dramas, and so that's what I
yes.
thought Crowndation was going to be.
Remember
And
that?
so I know. It was just like, okay, we're gonna ride this wave. We're gonna figure out, just and that was the beauty of it process, like allowing us to really walk through all of those beats. And so about halfway through the process, I realized like Fatima just wants to be talking. She don't need nobody interrupting. She just needs
No.
space just to like speak her truth. And so then that's when I gave myself permission to write this one woman show. And this is all my business, y'all. Well, not all of it, but like
A good bit of it.
this is some version. A little bit.
I,
Well, this is
I'm
my
trying to
full
imagine
truth.
you sitting next to your father watching this play. That must have been interesting.
I wasn't sitting next to him. That's a clue. I was in my apartment. He was at his house. I was like, call me afterwards, daddy. No, but it was great. Yeah.
and, and
Yeah.
so what you guys will see is you'll see the wonderful Sharia Irving, who is starring in this solo show. She kind of embodies different characters as you go through it. And at some point in the process, when we were at the National Black Theater doing the workshop back in 2018 or 2017, 2018, these characters were in the play. And so now it's a solo show, just Fatima's journey and kind of Fatima's lens of all these different individuals in her life or forces in her life. So it's really wonderful. Um, so we did it in 2018 at National Black Theater Festival. No, at National Black Theater. Excuse me, I keep saying
National Black
National
Theater,
Black Theater.
right.
I have MBTF on the brain right now. Sorry, y'all.
I
With
know.
wonderful Jonathan McCrory
Yes.
and Belinda Harding. So when Tyrone was visualizing this whole thing, it was LA centered. So we wanted to find a playwright from LA, an artist from LA, a singer from LA. And Angelica is from Los Angeles. I don't know if you could tell. She got the LA sunshine right there in her car there.
Whoop, whoop.
What's the temperature right now?
Yes.
Just to make myself sad. What's the temperature right now?
I
I
think
see
right
you,
now my car says it's 65.
and you're probably freezing cold, aren't you? It's
I
35
am. I
here
got
in New
my
York.
coat.
That's right. It's 35 here
Oh,
in New York. I just came from ice skating, so that's how
oh
cold it
snap.
is here. But yeah, so that was it. And so, but the other thing we wanted to do is to make sure that the production value and quality of this uh, presentation you're about to see, we wanted to do plays that had been workshopped or produced before. And the actors needed to be in LA because of COVID. And so God is so good. Sharia had moved out to
Yes.
LA, so we were able to bring the band back together. I directed Angelica's Beautiful Words and Sharia playing it, and so it just kind of all came together in a really another magical way. And I'm just so honored to have had another chance to uh, work on this beautiful piece. You and I met through the fire this time. So quick story. I'm telling a real quick
We
story. Then we're gonna get
did.
this.
Fire
We're
this
gonna get
time
this.
is
Fire this time is everything, right?
yes.
But I have two Angelica stories
Everything.
about the fire side. Two quick stories. So the first year I met you, you were producing. I was directing my wife Cynthia's play,
That's
and they
right.
had a fundraiser. It was a costume party,
Oh my God.
and Cynthia and I spent way too much money and bought these costumes,
Y'all
and we
were
had
y'all went all
we,
out.
we went all out. Goodness gracious! I don't know what we were thinking. I think maybe I don't know. Who knows? We were just really into it.
It was amazing.
But the party was not that well attended, is what I remember. Like it wasn't
That's
really as packed.
right.
So Cynthia and I really stood out.
There was,
But then social media, Angelica was running the social media for the fire this time. If you had seen this thing on social media, you would have thought it was jumping. I was like, golly, this Angelica Cherie is magic. So that's my first
well, then you
Angelica
put
story.
Larry Powell in the picture because Larry Powell was there. So it was just
Yes,
like, okay, the mayor came. Okay, so Larry Powell was present. So
yes. So it was. I
so
was
the
like, oh
fire.
my goodness. And then I remember when you were doing Slow Gen Fits, and you called me to ask me if I would be able to direct Slow Gen Fits. And I remember I was sitting on my couch. Cynthia and I were probably watching King of Queens or something like that. And I remember being so excited. Like I remember you taking forever to ask me, like the longest preamble ever. And I was just thinking, I'm definitely doing it. I'm definitely doing it. Like it was not even a question. Just a chance to work with you and the I did not know how beautiful, and I don't think anybody knew what Slow Jen was going to turn out to be. But I want to thank you for that. That totally changed my directing career 100%.
I have to thank you. Like, I didn't know the reason why I had such a preamble is because you only knew me from that party, and blessings to Kevin R. Free for being the connector
Kevin.
that he is, because he was like, "Oh, I have a director for you," and I'm like, "Oh yes, please." And I had no idea what kind of opus that you were going to turn that into. So that was like a pinnacle starting moment for me. Like, wow, yeah, we're collaborators for life. Thank you. Sign at the
Exactly.
dotted line.
Exactly. And so,
Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna get this thing going. You guys are gonna get a chance to see Foundation, which is part of the journey of the collaboration between Angelica and I. That is a lifelong collaboration. It's been one of the great joys of my personal and my personal life and my artistic career.
Me
And I hope you
too.
guys love it. Enjoy. It's great. It's a great
Yeah.
show. It starts off with Vanessa Williams, so it cannot be bad.
Can't go wrong.
It
Can't go
cannot go
wrong.
wrong. All right,
Can't go
let's
wrong.
get it going. Everybody enjoy. I love all of you. Thank you, fam. Enjoy the show. Thank you, Angelica.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to thank you for joining us for the first performance of Center Theater Group series, Not a Moment, but a Movement. A presentation born out of the continued inequality and violence perpetuated by those in positions of authority and privilege, especially toward Black communities. Center Theater Group, in collaboration with Black Center Theaters, the Fire This Time of NYC, and Watts Village Theater Company of Los Angeles, join the voices of many who proclaim that Black lives do not only matter when they are lost, they matter every day and everywhere. As institutions who have been given the power to highlight people and their stories on stage, we use this series to amplify, center, and breathe life into the vibrant, vast spectrum that is Black life. We use this series to shout out that Black lives have always mattered. But more than that, Black life has elevated all of our lives with our many contributions, as you will see in the plays that we will be presenting, beginning with Angelica Sherry's gorgeous one-woman show, Crowndation. Thank you for supporting live theater, and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Vanessa Williams, for kicking us off. Welcome to Center Theater Group's Not a Moment, but a Movement, an interdisciplinary event that amplifies the pipeline of Black artists. Presented in partnership with the Fire This Time Festival and Watts Village Theater Company, I'm your host and the co-artistic director of Watts Village Theater Company, Bruce Lemon Jr. Up next is Jessica Laurel, a recording artist, songwriter, and storyteller from Chicago by way of LA. Here she is, Jessica Laurel.
I've been scorned. I've been sworn. I've been served. Soil is worn. I've been waiting for my Lord to take me home. I've stand tall and say we going home. Songs tell stories. And when history looks back and tells our story, what song will you have sung? Of a new dream, of the dawn of the day we've been waiting. Of power, be marching for years upon hours. Feeling silence without light, and now it's on. You may hear one voice, but 10,000 singing along. We sing a new song. Sing a new song. 10,001 strong. Sing a new song. For the intro, the hour of awakening people. For the verses in your streets, on your stands, in your churches. Feeling louder, stronger, prouder, the whole world knows. For the chorus, you'll have to watch it all unfold. We sing a new song. Sing a new song. 10,001 strong. Sing a new song. Sing of dreams, sing of promise. Freedom sings, to be honest. Sing today, sing tomorrow. One day all will follow. We sing a new song. We sing a new song. 10,001 strong. We sing a new song. We sing yeah. We sing a new song. Yeah, yeah. We sing a new song. We sing a new song. Yeah,
Wow. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. The reading you're about to experience is extremely personal, intimate, sexy, scary, audacious, righteous, vulnerable, and true. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to crack open a pearl? Retrace the steps of a shooting star. Hear the innermost thoughts of a young black woman in America. This is that moment. This is Crowndation by Angelica Sherry. Directed by Caesar Williams and starring Sharia Irving. Prepare your heart accordingly.
Wow. So this is what it looks like, huh? 29. 29 years old. It's, well, not what I thought. You know those moments in your life that have been in the back of your mind for your entire life? And you have all these expectations about what it would look like and how it would feel. But when you get there, it's different. Well, that's what this is. This is not what I thought 29 would look like, and that might be a good thing. I can't say for sure yet. I just know I'm running out of time. I have 365 days left. So, this is where you come in. You're going to be my diary. You're going to help me figure this thing out, okay? First, a disclaimer. I'm not going to censor myself. And if you think I'm censoring myself, even in the slightest, you're going to call me out on it. Okay? Okay. Second disclaimer. I am full of contradictions. And we all are, to a certain extent, yes. But I mean in a big way. For example, I am both a Christian and a sexually awakened woman. Yep, Jesus and orgasms. And this is the very thing that has caused me to censor myself in the past, because the entirety of who I am is controversial. So I've learned how to conform and adjust based on who is listening. And that's not honest. Yeah, I guess you can call me a liar. But I don't want to be a liar anymore. If you scratch the surface of any lie, you'll find fear underneath it. I've been afraid. Afraid to really be myself. Afraid of what people would think if they knew the real me. If they knew all of me. I'm tired of hiding in my own skin. And like I said, I'm running out of time. Hence you, my diary. I am making space for myself to be all of myself. And if you don't think you can handle that, here's your chance. Okay. Great. So, let's get started. So, I got a little turnt last night. You know what that means, right? I went a little overboard on the French 75s. That's my favorite drink. I lost count after 4, and then it got real because I don't even remember how this glass got into my purse. But hey, it's my birthday! So I indulged in a few extra cocktails and a close encounter with an ex-boyfriend. Let's just call him nothing for now. No, I did not sleep with him. I thought about it though. I thought about getting one in and chalking it up to a night of alcohol-induced birthday-inspired poor judgment. But it's tricky because I just moved back in with my dad. I was living in New York City for 6 years. I went to grad school twice. Yeah, 2 master's degrees. I'm a sexy nerd. Yeah, so anyway, I moved back home to LA with this TV writing gig on the line. Some execs scouted me out for a production company they're starting up. They want me as a staff writer for their first show. The pay is gonna be ridiculous. Perks too. I'll be living the life. But until that kicks in, I am back at home with Dad. And the unsexiest thing in the world is having to rush home after a steamy liaison because your father would be worried if you came home past 3 a.m. So I avoided all that. Instead, I indulged in a few smoldering kisses under the tantalizing glow of parking lot lights.
I did things differently this time. I'm 29 now. 29. The same age my mother was when she passed away. Breast cancer. Last night, I was sipping French 75s and making out with a toxic lover. But when my mother turned 29, she was sipping water to chase down chemotherapy pills and feeding me formula because her breast milk was too toxic to my health. And now I sit on a full-size bed in the room I grew up in, surrounded by stuffed animals, baby pictures, and residual pieces of tape on the wall from where I hung my posters of Usher, B2K, and Imagine. Yeah, no one remembers Imagine. Imagine that I'm looking down at a photo album, getting used to the fact that my mother and I are the same age. My mother is eternally in her 20s. PYT in heaven. Pretty young thing. Turn the page. She died in 91. I was only 11 months old. I don't even know what her voice sounds like. There were no camera phones. There was no internet. I can only hope that someone somewhere has her recorded speaking. Photographs alone are stillness. Too much like death. Turn the page. That's what I mean when I say I'm running out of time. I have 365 days left before I outlive my mother. 365 days before I turn 30. And if I make it, cross that out. When I make it. What I mean is, I've been measuring my life alongside my mother's. She married my father at 25, gave birth to me at 28, and at 29, it was over. I hope it's not over for me. I'm not ready to. I have a lot more living left to do. This is my last chance to get some of this right. What I mean is, your 20s is a time to act a fool, make a mess. 30 is a crown. And I know, don't censor yourself. 30 is a crown, and I don't feel worthy of mine yet. But it's okay. I have time left. I have time left. 365 days. Turn the page. It's just been Daddy and I since then. Just the two of us. He welcomed my return. My living in New York was hard for him, but he said I had to do it. I had to go. And when I came back, just as I'd always done as a little girl, I said, I did it, Daddy. I did it. And just as he'd always done, he looked at me, hugged me, and said, Daddy's proud of you, baby. Daddy's proud. We laughed, we cried. And then Daddy went back to his easy chair, reading the Bible, muttering the same scripture over and over to himself. My covenant I will not break, nor alter the word that has gone out of my lips. Once I have sworn by my holiness, I will not lie to you. That's my father's name, David. "360 days. I was rearranging my closet, and I found this notebook. It's the journal I kept when I was writing my first play 15 years ago. It's crazy how long I've been doing this, telling stories. Starting from the beginning, you could chase a trail of breadcrumbs up to this moment. The games Daddy and I played, the things Mima would say to me, that's my grandmother, the things people would say in church. There was this one time, last Christmas morning before the service started, I was sitting in the pews next to my father, and a woman walked up to us, an older woman, a respected mother of the church. She looked me in the eyes, took my hand, and said, "You know music, don't you? How it should be arranged, how it comes together?" I said, "Yes, I'm a lyricist. I write musical theater." She said God's hand was on me. I had never seen her before. She knew nothing about me, but she saw it. And that's not the first time something like that had happened. A complete stranger looking at me, calling out something about my gift, prophesying over me. That's when I started to believe it. It was one thing for Mima and Daddy to say it, but complete stranger? I've always loved telling stories. I didn't think there was a purpose behind it, like a destiny. The hardest story I've ever tried to tell is my own. All right. So let's just get into it. 347 days. So my ex, the one for my birthday, he sends me a text. WYD. Not even a damn word. That's supposed to be enough to get my attention? I'm mad that it did. What am I doing? The truth would have been boring. Frustratedly sending another email to these TV execs who've been obnoxiously avoiding my phone calls. Instead, I say something nonchalant, potentially available if necessary, but not desperately so. Nothing much. You? And I won't bore you with the sloppy transition from text thread to sitting across from him at an awkward coffee table made from a storage locker, covered in Black Panther books and other literature from the civil rights era. Amiri Baraka is watching my descent into poor judgment, and 22 minutes. Yeah, it was only 22 minutes. Damn, like, if I'm going to relapse, it better be worth it. Turn the page. Intimacy is a drug. I just needed a fix. It wasn't even a good one. So I fairly easily, because he's painfully boring, but fine as hell, I fairly easily stopped responding to his text messages. Yeah, this is gonna be the last time. 341 days. Okay, so this is gonna have to be the last time. Look, I had a weak moment. I was already out with my girls. We had a few drinks. He texted me, and like a magnet, I popped in my car and drove to his apartment. I made it home at 4 o'clock in the morning. This is definitely the last time. He wouldn't even turn on the AC when I asked him to. I can't with him. No, really, cannot with him. Turn the page. If I'm gonna be honest, I was in love when I left NYC. But we could only go so far. I know, I'm censoring myself again. Damn. Okay. The truth is, he was a father. He had a baby girl. And guess how baby girl's mother felt about our relationship? You already know. It was a constant negotiation. Us versus his family. Me versus his family. Yes, our love was a knockout Shakespearean sonnet spat over a Pete Rock beat. Yes, We connected so deeply that he somehow ended up making love to my imagination. Yes, we toyed around with the idea of marriage. But then reality would always show up in the form of a disgruntled text message at 2 a.m. And I was reminded of the fact that I don't really fit in his life. The fact that if I wanted to, I would have to decrease. Fuck that. I've diminished myself before. Ain't doing it again. Anything that wants me better fit or learn to stretch. And this is going backwards. Yeah, I'm going backwards if I keep messing with this fool. Nah. Tonight is the last night. And then I came home, hoping to tip in undetected. But Daddy was wide awake, sitting on the couch with the Bible open. He asked me to sit down. Oh no, damn. He asked me how my night was. Fine. He said, oh, that's good. He didn't say anything else. Did he know? Did he not want to know? He looked at me with these eyes that said, I don't care what you did. I'm just glad you're home safely. He always looks at me like he's grateful, and I don't know how to look back. I don't know what to say without saying too much, so I just say how tired I am. And then he says, my baby, you just don't know. You just don't know how much this helps me. What? Just you being here. You just don't know. I will never have the words. Then he says, yep, it's on you, kiddo. God's hand. It's on you just like it's on me. Ever since I was a little boy, 5 years old, walking to school, God has been talking to me. I need you to preach. Teach my people. I'd never heard this before. Then he smiled, looked down at the Bible, and kept reading. You know, in this scripture, in Psalms 89, God makes a promise to David that his seed will endure forever. God will not lie to David. That's me. So what does that make you? "322 days. I finally got a response from the TV execs. It only took 43 days. As you can imagine, they've had some setbacks, some problems getting their funding together. But they assured me everything is going to be up and running. They just need a little more time. Could be weeks, could be months. They had better get their I moved here for this reason. It's fine, really. Buys me more time. I just need a second to clear my head. What does it mean to be chosen? What does it mean to be picked, plucked like fruit, washed in prayers, now spitting out seeds? What does it mean when you're a one-of-a-kind species, the only pup in a litter? You've made paw prints on all types of paper, looking for some answers, but all you've done was litter. You scattered pages across screens and stages, going through stages. You were born from a body polluted with stage 3 breast cancer, yet you survived. Why? Call it survivor's guilt. Call the pages a quilt, wrap yourself in stories to keep warm, rip them apart, ball them up into stones, and build yourself a tower. But remember what happened in Babylon. So be careful and try not to reach for heaven. I know you want to take a peek, but trust me, you'll just come down confused and babbling. and you can't afford to get your words mixed up, because that's all you really have. My words are all I really have. "300 days. When my mother died, I moved in with my Mima, Thea Ann Clark Seed Meckhouse. I moved in with her in Bakersfield, a little house, 798 Ruby Place. A little house surrounded by white roses. I sat under her tutelage from 11 months to about 7 years old and learned how to care for myself. Learned to cook, learned to match my clothes, learned to fix my hair. I learned what a period was. I learned what a period was at 6 years old. She wanted me to be prepared just in case. She knew the day would come when she would have to recommit me into my father's care. Mima waved goodbye to me on the front porch of her house as we drove away in Daddy's van, filled with my clothes and Barbies. She was never one to let me see it. But that time, I think she cried. Mima came back to visit me and Daddy that next summer, and she saw that I was doing well with him. And Mima, well, she hadn't been feeling well. Refused to get a pacemaker. Didn't want anything battery-powered inside of her. And she was taking Metamucil every day. And she fell down a flight of stairs. Before that, she was telling people what song she wanted sung at her funeral. "When you hear of my homegoing." Daddy kept telling her to stop. "Stop talking like you're ready to check out of here." He said it like death was a choice. Turn the page. I was almost 9 years old. I was young and unaware, completely unaware. I just went to sleep. And then one morning, not dawn yet, I woke up while it was still dark, and there was a black shadow cast over my bed. It was amorphous. I couldn't tell what it was. It seemed tall and unthreatening. I just sat up and it went away. I called out to Mima. I wanted her to restart this tape I used to listen to help me fall asleep. Adventures in Odyssey, a Christian-based program for kids, stories on cassette. I asked Mima to restart the tape, but she didn't respond. I asked her again, still no response. So I got out of bed, turned on the light, and I saw her. She was leaning against the bed, the other bed in the room, and she was holding a towel against her heart with both hands. It was warm. I tried to wake her up. She wasn't responding, so I called out for my father. He came in running. All I said was, "Daddy, Daddy, Mima won't wake up." He put his hands on her chest and tried to nudge her. "Mama, Mama." And then he realized, she's gone, baby. She's gone. I didn't even consider that she could have died. Not until that moment. The realization of it threw me backwards. All I could say was, no. No. We couldn't even cry in that moment, Daddy and I. There was too much to be done. We had to call the family. He started with my auntie. He said to her, "I got something to tell you." "Mama gone?" She replied, "Yeah. How'd you know?" Auntie had a dream. Spoke with me, Ma. She told her, "Don't be acting a fool and carrying on. Don't be acting a fool at my funeral and everything. You hold it together. Take care of business. God ain't finished with y'all. I'm just going home. Auntie woke up from that dream to Daddy's phone call. That's the kind of people I come from. That's how deep it is, this relationship with God. It's not religion. It's real. Auntie and her family came by that morning before we called the coroner. Then the tears began. She was gone. The only mother I could remember was gone. But she gave me everything she could. At her funeral, we sang, "When You Hear My Home Going," just as Mima had asked. We emptied her house, that little house in Bakersfield. I looked at Daddy, who 8 years earlier had buried his wife, July 17th, 1991. Then July 24th, 1999, he buried his mother. He lost 2 pillars. Turn the page. It's just been the 2 of us since then, Daddy and I. In the same house, the same townhouse, the same bedroom where Mima died. I am back at square one. Why am I back at square one? 270 days. It feels good to write poetry again. I used to be on the spoken word circuit, performing all the time. Then my plays took over. There's so much more room in a play. But my poems are my safe space, where I process. There was this poetry spot I used to go to every Tuesday night. And tonight, I went back and I got on the mic for the first time in 8 years. This poem is called 9 Questions I Have About Heaven. Number 1, what language is spoken there? All of humanity spoke the same language until the Tower of Babel, when the tongues were confused. And we've been babbling ever since, so I imagine heaven must still be unified. What's heaven's tongue? Hebrew? Greek? West Angelic? Or some Creole of the tongues of men and angels? Are there immersion classes? Number 2, what will I look like? The life of my body is not my body, but my spirit. When the spirit leaves, the body dries up. When I die, I'll leave my body and take my spirit, but what does the face of my spirit look like? Does it also have high cheekbones? Number 3, where does my mother live in heaven? How will I find her? Does she have an address? Will I recognize her? Will she recognize me? Number 4, has she really been watching? Is she in that great cloud of witnesses? Number 5, can my mother remember the earth and what it was like? Number 6, where are all the spirits of the babies waiting to be born? Where do they sleep? Number 7, how clean are the feet of the babies who were aborted or miscarried? They were never soiled with the dirt of the earth. Have they been raised up to be guardian angels? Are they our silent protectors? Do they harbor resentment? Or are they ambassadors of forgiveness and second chances? Number 8, where is my older sibling? In a gust of dusty medical documents, certificates of completion, and secondhand accounts, I found out 2 things I never knew about my mother. She had an abortion. She was married before to a man named Earl, who tried to shroud her curves in insults and oversized clothes, who hit her, who sent her to work on crutches, armed with a false account of falling down a flight of stairs, which my auntie did not believe. They were co-workers and best friends. My mother left Earl, had the marriage annulled. She met my father 2 years later at auntie's baby shower. I don't know anything about the baby she aborted, but if it was Earl's, if the baby was Earl's, at the moment of conception, did she exhale and see a thunderstorm of blood and bruises raining on her and the child, and decided that the best thing was to... Number 9. When I finally set foot on heaven's golden soil, will I recognize my mother's voice when she calls my name? I don't remember what it sounds like, but it is very likely the first voice I ever heard on this earth. So when I finally hear it again, will it be a tearful reckoning of lullabies and goodnight kisses? Will it sound like goodbye? Hello. And I've been waiting for you, all at once. Will it sound more familiar than my own voice? Will it sound more familiar than my own voice? Thank you. Afterwards, this girl in green overalls came up to me. She had pink hair. She said, "Thank you. I needed that. I lost somebody, and you made it feel okay. I was in a bad place, and now, I think I'll be okay. Thanks." And then she walked away. To think, I almost didn't come. Oh, and there was this guy tonight. I met this guy at the poetry spot. And then I came home earlier than expected. Daddy was on the couch, surrounded by bottles and bottles and bottles of pills. Blood pressure pills, cholesterol pills, gout pills, depression pills. What's all this? He had a clipboard with all the different pills itemized along with the times he's taking them. You've been taking pills around the clock? For how long? Years. I didn't want you to worry. I ain't going anywhere. He put down the clipboard, pushed all the pill bottles aside, picked up the Bible and said, "I'm working on something. Just be in agreement with me that I'm well. Can you do that?" Yes. Yes, I can do that. I can do that. 225 days. My faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him. He shall cry to me, "You are my God, my Father, the rock of my salvation." His seed will I also make to endure forever. My covenant I will not break, nor alter the word that has gone out of my lips. Once I have sworn by my holiness, I will not lie to David. God, what does this mean? God, help my father. He kept all of this from me for such a long time because he didn't want me to worry. But how can I not worry? It's all that I have. If anything were to happen to him, I would be in I heard God say, I will not lie to David or his seed. You are David's seed. Therefore, I will not lie to you either. I haven't always been this deep, I swear. I mean, I've been a Christian all my life, but there's levels to it. I was raised up in it, and then I went my own way for a while. Cliche, right? Church kid wows out and then tearfully comes crawling back after a sudden brush with danger. Insert title of Chitlin Circuit play or movie here. Why everybody got to make Christian sound corny? It was deeper than that. You don't even know all of. I said I wasn't going to censor myself, so turn the page. I knew I was in a bad place when smoking weed gave me severe panic attacks. Yeah, I smoked weed. I'm from LA, big deal. And my ex was a musician, so it was always around in abundance. At first, it was super chill. Then, all of a sudden, a perfectly normal high turned into a catastrophe. I couldn't feel my heartbeat. My body melted into the bed. I closed my eyes and saw images from my childhood. The swing set in Mima's backyard. Daddy's black Ford Aerostar. 6 of my Barbie dolls having a conversation over tea, crying over their ex-husbands. Then suddenly I drifted up to the ceiling. I looked down and saw myself. I just knew I was dying. I thought it was a one-time thing, a bad strain, a stressful week, but it kept happening over and over. I finally broke down, cried out to God, asked him, why? And I heard, it's because you're searching for something you already have. I never smoked again. But it wasn't just about weed. There were so many other things, moments, choices, relationships, all ending in pain, all with the same conclusion, that I was searching for something I already had. Love, peace, validation. I'm working on it, and it's working on me.
Like a boomerang, I said, now girl, I like the way you do your thing. You ain't never gotta worry about a thing. I'll be by your side through the storm and rain. Coming back to you like a boomerang.
Hey, there's my pretty young thing. Let my pretty love sing. Yeah, you know me, my
171 days. Yeah, it's been a while. Let me explain why. So, this guy, the guy I met at the poetry spot, Khalil, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I know, I'm catching you up. So we went out on like 7 dates in the past 2 months. 2 shows, a really dope band from Atlanta and a DJ from Brooklyn. Dinner, lunch, brunch, hikes to abandoned cliffs in Malibu overlooking the ocean with a bottle of wine and the glow of his Jeep's headlights. The Getty, holding hands in the flower maze. Oh, and get this, a ballet. Yo, your boy is cultured. Yes, he's black. Don't do that. He happens to be well educated too. Did his undergrad at USC. Now, I'm a Bruin, but we'll forgive him for now. Engineering and applied science major with a minor in world arts and culture. Mind blown. Oh, and get this. He's considering going back for his MBA. Yeah, that's why you haven't been hearing from me much in the past 2 months. He's like everything on a silver platter. Educated and a little hood. He's from Compton, and he's fine as hell. Used to play football. Still got them shoulders. Still got that chest. Had a full ride to SC on scholarship, but he tore his ACL, so he went hard on the academics. Sexy nerd zaddy for real, like, yes, Lord. And he's tender and affectionate and funny, and he throws down in the kitchen. We haven't been in the bedroom yet. I'm pacing myself, but I can tell he's got that good. You know? When a man holds you in a certain way, and to be continued. Point being, he's perfect. There's just one drawback. He's a musician. Another freaking musician. A producer, working with Brandy on some tracks for her new album, and working on an album of his own. He waited until the 7th date to spring it on me. Turn the page. Don't look at me like that. You don't even know. I've dated 5 musicians in the past, and they're all the same. Musicians are married to the music. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you fall, music will always be their first love. They'll always be at the studio or at rehearsal or at a show, always somewhere chasing melody while you're chasing them. So when Khalil asked me to be his girlfriend after we listened to 8 tracks on his album, I told him, I really like you and all, but I don't date musicians anymore. To which he replied, sounds like you got baggage. Nah, I got experience. I'm different. How? I see you. He's charming. We'll see. What? I don't know, all right? I don't know how he feels about God. We haven't talked about that yet. Yo, buzzkill much. 144 days. So, Khalil and I both love old TV shows from the 90s. Sister, hanging with Mr. Cooper, the Wayans brothers. I used to record them on VHS. This was before Apple TV, Netflix, yada, yada. Khalil and I decided to have a throwback TV night, so I went digging. And on the first tape, I found my dad. It was a broadcast, a nationwide broadcast from back in the 80s. He spoke about a prophecy, something my grandfather had spoken over him before he passed away. He laid hands on him and prophesied that he would have a special gift, his voice. It heals. Then Daddy started singing. And there was a surge. I felt it. It coursed through me like fire. Then the tape finished. He never told me. I yanked the tape out of the VCR, ran straight to my father. What is this? He looked nervous. He whispered, where'd you find that? And then he cried. He cried stagnant water and hidden potential. I was furious, watching him, sitting in his easy chair, letting years pass by. All the time, he was hiding a gift. His voice, it heals, and he never told me. He just held it in. I got him to open up. He said he had a healing ministry. He sang over multitudes of people, and they were healed. Then my mother got sick, and he sang day and night. But she still died. Then he stopped. He stopped singing, canceled his broadcast, walked away from his ministry, and sank into an IT job for 29 years. Turn the page. Isn't it ironic? All of the pills, I mean, this man can heal, but Daddy, don't you get it? It's your gift. It's reversing on the inside of you. You have to let it out. Physician, heal thyself. Oh, don't worry about me, baby. It's your time now. But, Daddy, people need you. Then he said, but they need you too. "78 days. I'm sorry I haven't written to you in 66 days. I always do this with diaries. I start off strong with conviction and then I fall off. Well, I should catch you up. A lot has been going on. I'm still living with my dad. The TV gig. You guessed it. I never heard from those motherfuckers again. I'm officially unemployed. I'll find another way to break into TV writing. I've come too far to give up now. Good news. I have a production of a play coming up. It's a play about my mother's battle with breast cancer. Yeah, really light and fun. But it's helping. I am dangerously close to running out of time. Just a couple months away from turning 30. And I still don't have any of the answers that I was looking for. I'm starting to forget what the questions even were, because new questions pop up. And then I put them in a poem, and new questions pop up, and then I put them in a play. And I wait. I wait for answers. They don't always come, not right away, but the writing helps. Turn the page. Khalil and I are good. Really good. I met Brandy. She made us dinner. That was dope. She's dope. He might be going on tour with her. That's when he dropped it. The question. He wants me to marry him. For so long, I've wanted to be married. Not just for the sake of it, for the love, for the companionship. For my whole life, my father has been single. He's been alone. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be like him. My father has made finding a soulmate look impossible. And in the back of my mind, I thought I'd been fighting a losing battle. That it would somehow never happen for me. My ex confirmed that. But Khalil makes it possible. Khalil makes me feel normal. Then he said he was ready to meet my dad. I don't think right now is a good time, I said. Why? Something wrong? Long story. I don't really want to get into it right now. I mean, we're fine. It's just, let me get back to you. Cool. Is all he said. He's so chill, it's sexy. I still haven't told him what I saw on that tape. I don't think he's not really all that spiritual. I mean, he believes in God, but that's kind of where it ends. Look, I remember what I said. I'm not compartmentalizing. He knows I'm a Christian. What? I'm just supposed to drop him because he doesn't believe what I believe? When I'm with him, I don't think about all the ways we just fit in this crazy, unexpected way, and I've never connected with anyone on all of these different levels. I love him. 62 days. He is the manifestation of heaven on earth. His sweat is morning dew. His kisses are manna, and every day I'm waiting to be fed. He knows I'm hungry, and I love how he devours me back. We cling to each other like Adam and Eve before they were ashamed, like colors before they were named. He enters me, and the ocean silences. Embarrassed that it hasn't yet learned to rumble like the wave of his back as it crashes onto my shore. We are drowning and seek not to be saved. All the souls of slaves in our blood temporarily forget the horror of the Middle Passage because of how good it feels to be reunited on the soil of his bed. Call our lovemaking reparations. We've had this date set from the beginning of generations. May our kingdom come over and over and over again. And then he's fast asleep. And for a moment, my insecurities weep at their extinction. For once, my body is completely at rest. But my mind, it stirs and stirs. Khalil lay beside me in a deep sleep. His brown body lost in the sheets. I thought about everything. The love we just made. All the time we've spent together over these months. All the secrets he's told me about his family. His brother dying in a car accident. His stillborn child. The school he wants to open up for kids in Compton who want to learn to play music. How he's bared his soul to me. How I've kept so much from him. Mostly spiritual things. Mostly my dad. And I thought about how serious he is about marriage. What it means to me. And the love we just made. And I thought, I have to tell him. I said it out loud, not realizing it woke him up. Damn. He turned over and said, "Hey, you good?" "Yeah." "You good? Don't lie to me. For real?" Actually, there is something I need to talk to you about. 48 days. I don't think he took it very well. Khalil, I told him everything. He didn't say anything outright, but things started changing. He suddenly started taking 3 hours to respond to my text messages. And he stopped calling me on his lunch breaks at work. Stopped calling me on his way home. Stopped making plans. He was suddenly always busy. Suddenly always at the studio. This was the exact reason why. I told him I don't date musicians for this very exact reason. I told him it wasn't working for me. I've been going through a lot, and I need some real support from my man. Like, come on. He wanted to throw it in my face, said I was just being needy and in my feelings. You say what? I told him, if you don't have the time, the energy, or the desire to actually do this, then we don't need to be together anymore. I got better shit to do with my time than wonder why my boyfriend suddenly doesn't want to act like my boyfriend anymore. Then he said, look, I'm sorry. I know I've been unavailable lately, and that's unfair to you. That's my bad. My apologies. I appreciate what you told me about your family and everything. But I got something I need to tell you too. New management is trying to sign me. This really big company I've been after for years, they finally want to sign me, and all that pushed me back on the album release. Then Jill Scott just hit me up to lay some tracks for her new album. You know, it's all good news, but I'm maxed out, babe. And I'm really sorry, but I feel like I should just take a step back from this and focus on my music right now. You want to focus on your music right now? Nigga, did we not just have this conversation already? Did you not chase me down? Did you not bring me around your whole damn family, got me cooking Christmas dinner for your mama and painting your niece's toenails? And you told her she's about to have an auntie soon because Khalil done found himself a real one. We gonna get married. Married? Married? You married to your damn self. And I was never a whole person to you. I was a pair of shoes or a car or a record deal. I was a thing, something you could cross off your list of achievements. You chased and chased me down. Then once I acquiesced, once you felt like you had me, you stopped putting in effort. Once I started needing emotional support, doing this intense ass play about my mother dying of breast cancer, going into production, crying in the shower before rehearsal. Now your ass is in the studio and always too busy to pick up the phone. This is exactly what I said I didn't want, and I'm done. Turn the page. I'm done compromising for fear of being alone. I think it started when my mother passed away. I may not remember, but I knew who she was, and I knew when she was gone. All of a sudden, Mommy was gone. I was told they held me over the casket at her funeral so I could say goodbye. She looked so peaceful, I must have thought she was just taking a nap. I tried to get in the casket with her, but they wouldn't let me. I cried and I cried, and I never saw her again. I was only 11 months old, so I didn't have language. The one thing that saves me. I didn't have it yet. I couldn't ask where she went or if she'd be coming back. I just dealt with it. I got passed to different sets of arms. Poor baby. Somebody hold her. It's okay, baby. And now here I am, 48 days from turning 30 years old. And I'm still hopping from sets and sets of arms with someone calling me baby, reassuring me that everything's gonna be okay, that they're not going anywhere, and then I'm not that baby anymore. I made it this far. I deserve something real. I will wait for something real and lean on the everlasting arms. 30 days. I need to talk to my mother. Mother? Mommy? Can you hear me? Help. Help. The sands of time are falling, and in just 30 days, I will have outlived you. But I don't feel like I know any of the things I'm supposed to know. I don't really know who I am. I don't really know who my father is. And I don't really know who you are. I am so confused. I tried to tell my boyfriend about Daddy, about me. He just looked disturbed. I was embarrassed. I felt weird. I just needed to talk to you. I don't know what all of this means. "22 days. I took Daddy to the emergency room this morning. At 8 a.m., Daddy knocked on my door very gently, and he told me that there was a burning feeling in his chest, and he felt hot. The burning started in his stomach, and then it went up and down his spine. He hadn't slept a wink, but he said he waited. He waited until he thought I'd had enough sleep.
Hi, everyone. Just want to apologize. We see. Uh, I know I've been watching and following along and chatting on the different. A lot of you have been watching, chatting, and I've enjoyed watching your cuts on the different platforms. Um, I think this is just part of what we're dealing with now in the whole tech world. The files seem to be corrupted. So I apologize sincerely. We will have to end the show. I could do a, I guess I could play Fatima and finish it up for you, but it wouldn't be nearly as good as Irving doing it. So packed. We'll try to reschedule another time again. So again, my sincere apologies for the difficulty. I don't think there's any way we're going to be able to fix it today. So again, my apologies. I hope you enjoyed what you did see. Just from the farthest time, CTG and Watts Village Theater, and we will try to do this again. And hopefully, the gremlins will not get us. All right. So thank you again. Much love. Bye bye.